Hello, my name is Jamie, and I'm a bowyer. A bowyer is a name given to someone that makes bows. The first bow I ever made was for my design technology GCSE. I was 15 years old. After that, I went down south to college. I did an advanced bushcraft instructor's course, and bow making was a module of that again. By the time I was 18, I actually started delivering bow making courses for a business that I worked for. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about self bows, which is the kind of bows we typically make in the woods. A self bow simply is made of one piece of wood. It doesn't have any laminates, anything added to it. Sometimes we can see it looks like plywood bows that are made from various different pieces of wood and glued together. This isn't like that. This is just one solid piece of wood. This piece of wood is actually ash. Ash is a great place to start. There's so many trees just in abundance that are straight grained and perfect for cutting down and splitting lengthways to get a bow stave and making these bows. These are also known as flat bows simply because it's flat. It's a flat limb. If you look at the old war bows that we used, they had a rounded D shape. They weren't like this. And they actually didn't store energy as well as a flat bow. So if you take a flat bow that has a draw weight of 50 pounds and put it against a long bow with a draw weight of 50 pounds, you'll see that the arrow travels faster coming out of one of these. Now, this bow actually isn't finished yet. It's in its final stages, something known as tillering, which is really the art of bow making. Anything up until this point is basically just carpentry seals getting the shape. But tillering is getting the limbs to bend evenly. It's very important because if they don't bend evenly, it can break. If there's too much strain on one part of the limb and not the rest, it will put too much pressure on it and pop. We also want to spread the weight across the whole thing evenly. So we don't want just the tips to bend, nor it be a whip-ended bow. We want the whole thing to bend. We don't want it just to bend in the handle too much. Spread out perfectly. This also means that we can get the full amount of energy from it when we start to use the bow and get it into that arrow. This bow is also called a pyramid bow. That's the style it is, and that just means it starts out wide at the handle and tapers off towards the tips. And then these tips are actually purposely quite thin because, as you can imagine, a paddle going through the air, not very aerodynamic. If we can thin out the end and make it more aerodynamic, it will cut quicker and it will actually send the arrow faster. Another trick we can do is make the string thin so that that's also aerodynamic. I've gone as thin as I'd like to go on this one. It's actually made from 14 strands of dacron. Dacron has absolutely no stretch in it at all because we want all of the strain to come from the bow. We don't want anything to come from the string. I made this myself. It's a 2-splice bowstring, and it's the exact same way that we'd make cordage in any situation. So if I was to take you out into the woods and I was doing some bushcraft and maybe show you netted cordage, it's the exact same way I'd show you for that, which I can't show you right now. The end here, where the string attaches to the bow, these are called nocks. Now, you may have heard the term "I'm knocking off." Yeah, it's my time to knock off now. And this right now is literally knocking off. De-stringing the bow. Anytime we're not using the bow, we de-string it. We would never leave it strained for long periods of time. It would lose its springiness. It would set into that shape over time. We always leave it unstrung, and in fact we also leave it somewhere flat. I have it on my floor like this at home, because if I was to lean it against the wall, that tillering process I was telling you about could change the wood. It could put an uneven amount of weight on one limb over a long period of time. And in fact, I have a bow that I did that with, and now I need to re-tiller it because one limb bends more than the other. So that happens. It would happen over a long period of time. You'd get away with doing it for a day, but it's good practice to leave the bow laying down. I'm hoping to teach more bow making courses this summer. Obviously with the COVID restrictions, it's very hard to be able to make a date for that. But it is something that I've enjoyed for many years. It's a great passion of mine, bow making. I enjoy teaching people how to make bows. I enjoy learning more about bow making, and especially these old bows. I think there are people out there that would see them as an outdated form of archery, but I don't believe for 1 minute that's true. I actually think that these are the future. My reasoning for that is the modern bows we use, they have pulley systems, they have sights on them. It takes all the skill out of the user. These require skill from the user. People shoot them instinctively. There are many videos online of people that can throw a paracetamol up in the air and shoot it instinctively without any sights. And I dare say that people that shoot instinctively are actually more accurate than those that shoot with sights. And I could easily put that together as a debate, because there are many people that have really pushed the boundaries of this and done some incredible things. There are many hunters in America at the present time that go out with self bows just like this, and I definitely don't think they feel like they're doing it because they can't afford a decent, more modern bow. They do it because the true bowman, the true archer that can make his own bow and go out and hunt instinctively, shoot targets without the aid of sights, this is archery at its purest, most advanced form, and it takes a lot of practice. I do believe that anyone can be taught to do it, but it certainly wouldn't be an off-the-shelf hobby. It would take a lot of time, a lot of training, and a lot of skill. And when you did have that, you would definitely be a much more advanced shooter. Well, I'm going to knock off. I hope you've enjoyed my little presentation on bows. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comments below, and I hope you have a good day.